We're live.
10,000. 10,000.
10,000.
10,000 downloads.
Downloads in the order of, to the order of 10K.
Chris,
K
cheers
sound.
to you, my good man. We wouldn't be here without you. And certainly we wouldn't be at 10,000 downloads without you. So,
I
salute.
think cheers to you guys.
Salute.
Hey, clink, clink. I guess we don't all appear in the same order on every.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
No, I just camera it.
Wait, what are you?
It's
What
not
are you
like the
drinking?
Partridge Family where it can all look at each other, you know.
Yeah, right.
What are
Here's
you
the
drinking,
story.
Cole?
This is monkey shoulder.
He's drinking a monkey's shoulder.
Num 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 num.
Not-
They just
didn't
take the
know that.
shoulder of a
Wow.
monkey and then they put it in a still for like 50 days. It's quite disgusting. No, it's
Wow. Yeah.
It's a blended
Makes-
scotch. It is delicious.
But what is it blended with?
Just other scotches. That's what a blended scotch is. You take a bunch of different single malts and you blend them. It's kind of like
they just go up on the shelf. Like there's makers. Let's get a little bit of that. Some bullet. Just
I mean, kind of.
Thanks, Anthony.
Not different whatevers. Yeah, no, blended
I
scotch
wonder if
is
anybody would know.
it is intended to create a very specific flavor profile rather than like sort of
Like the horse sweat one?
yeah, like the horse hot one. This one's very sweet. There's not much smoky in this.
The last, Will's saying peat, smoky, and raw. Best,
Yep.
best flavors.
This is
Yeah, my best friends, Pete, Smokey, and Raw. Best guys.
hmm
Yeah.
what about the bandit? Bandit's
What?
not there?
Smoky
yeah,
and the
yeah.
Bandit. Oh my
Bandit,
God.
Bandit.
Come on, how do you
Wait,
not?
there's trucks outside my window. Is that all right with you guys?
Yo, you can't really hear it. It's very
Yeah,
very
amazing.
soft.
If
Yeah,
if
you're
that's
good.
not the name of a country song, I don't know what is.
What,
Truck-
Pete,
There's
Smoky, and raw.
trucks outside my
Oh.
window.
Self-driving
just-
trucks outside my window.
Remind
They
me
took my
about how
dog.
you went away.
You know that joke, that meme about since all country songs are basically about a guy, you know, whose girl left him. Now that we have self-driving cars, eventually there's going to be a country song about a guy whose truck left him.
Yes, we'll be looking forward to that one.
It'd be a sad
And I
day.
just messed that joke up really bad.
I didn't pay my lease, and my truck drove away.
You're a deadbeat truck driving man.
No longer the deadbeat dads. You're now the deadbeat truck
Actually,
drivers.
like doing like a robotic voice. You're a deadbeat truck.
Even better.
Is driving away as fast as I can.
Oh, so hold on a second, because if it's told from the point of view of the truck, yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
I won't have you spilling drinks in me anymore.
You spilled it all over my floor. Now I sound like a Frank Zappa song.
And maybe a whore. Every single one of the country songs out there can literally be played backwards just to make everything good again. Because after the dog left, the wife left, my truck is broken down, the
Oh yeah.
house has got robbed.
Yeah.
Play it
Except
all
for
backwards.
George Jones, which is a list of things that went bad.
Right,
You know, so like if you just recite the list in reverse, all those things still are bad. You know.
right.
So,
Agreed.
That's
yeah.
actually one of my favorite President's United States of America songs.
What's
The,
that?
the oh damn it! I just dropped the name of the song, but it's the bad list. Basically, where he's going on about how you never chewed foil, you never got you never got oh fuck! I'm gonna pull it up. Hold on a second.
Oh my God, you're really gonna go that far?
I did. I fucked it up. I fucked it up. I'm sorry.
So
It's fucking
we-
scotch, it's blended scotch.
Don't-
This is not the good blend. This is the bad blend.
Don't blame me for
We're,
the.
we're missing gold here on the public broadcast text chat. Don't change my feckin' oil. My dog left me. Video killed the radio star. Jammed out hard to that one. Lol, chewed foil.
Chew foil.
It's more bad times. So it's you never got rabies, you never gained weight, you never drank poison, you watch what you ate, you never came home with a terrible scar, you never so much as put a scratch on my car. You never got measles, you never got gout, you never got dizzy, and you never fell out. Never suggested we all play charades. You never picked up any live hand grenades.
Did you get, is that one of your list? That's one of your list, isn't it, Chris?
That's one of my lists. It's excellent.
Was it one of your list?
Yeah.
Mandy, you just made Clayton money.
Wait, what is the song I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of? Because this has to follow that up. It's God, Hank 3. You guys know Hank 3? Hank Williams
Yeah.
III.
Uh-huh.
He's the cool punk rock Hank Williams, not the douchebag, NFL right wing,
Douchebaggery.
I don't know if that guy's really a douche. I have no idea.
You fucking
What's the
douche
song?
canoe.
Oh, it's called "The Pills I Took." Oh my
The
God!
pills
Let me
I
just
took.
read you the lyrics.
Please.
It's so good. I mean, I guess we could play the song technically, but
Well, if it's copyrighted.
well, I've been awake for 8 days straight. It must have been the pills I took. I've been twitching and turning and seeing visions. It must have been the pills I took. I don't know what they were. I don't know where I got them, but they sure did make me feel good. They kept my heart from feeling blue, kept my thoughts of... There's blood on the carpet and holes in the walls. It must have been the pills I took. Yeah, mirrors all busted and someone's crying. Must have been the pills I took. It gets
Holy
better and better.
shit.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I lied and I stole, and I ain't fucking joking. It must have been the pills I took.
For Twitch chat, you now have both the lyric lists for that, and you can sing along.
Excellent.
Jesus Christ.
That's definitely up there with King Missile and
Yes.
any of their
Detachable
songs.
penis. Detachable penis.
Oh, yeah.
Sid, that's actually, I mean, of the songs that they've got, that's like one of their popular ones. But there's Jesus Was a Real Cool Guy is funny as hell. The Cheesecake Truck was awesome. And what was the other one that was just really damn funny? I think the Cheesecake Truck is probably the funniest one, because you're dealing with, like, this dude gets a job driving a truck around delivering cheesecakes, and he's like, well, so I stopped to have breakfast, and I had 2 cheesecakes, and then I went on a delivery, and I dropped off 1 cheesecake, and then I ate 3 cheesecakes on the way to whatever, and he's just this absurd song. It's just wonderful. And then by the end of it, he leaves the truck like on fire and leaves town because he's eaten all the cheesecakes. He's like, well, fuck it. I ate all the cheesecakes. I can't go back to work.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Cheesecakes. Gotta love them.
But we've gotten dramatically off course.
We have, but that's okay.
I got it, Will.
And
I got
hard.
I would say spectacularly off course.
Yeah.
Well, we were just here to kind of chat, weren't we?
We're just here to chat mostly, but I kind of wanted to go through and thank everybody in the cast and just do a quick shout out to each person. I thought it'd be fun. There are a lot of people in the cast, so it could be about 3 hours. No, it won't take that long.
Well, can we start off by you just kind of going over, like, how did you come up with the idea to begin with? Because, I mean, especially if this is the inaugural stream, for people who want to come back to this, for the sake of posterity and check out what how Mandible Judy started. I honestly don't know this answer. I don't know how you came up with it to begin with.
Amazing. Well, okay. Well, I'm glad you asked that, Clayton. Yes, I am. This basically started because I was looking to get some more film scoring work. And in lieu of, I was like, well, I can't just I'm not going to make a film tomorrow and score it, right? I'm looking for work. I'll get work at some point and get little jobs here and there, and I can put them in my reel. But in the meantime, I want to make something narrative based. There's a child outside screaming. Sounds amazing.
It's really light. It's very light.
I like the ambiance.
Yeah.
I told you, if you live in New York, man, and there's a wonderful a mesh. It's the organic. It's wonderful. I like it.
Thanks. All right. So I just want something narrative to write music for. It would be much easier to do it for, an audio drama, for instance. And I wasn't necessarily thinking podcasting. I was thinking I did Toonbox in 2017, I want to say, 2018, something like that. It was a 7-song mini LP kind of thing. And each song started off with a little vignette in voiceover, like a voice acted vignette. Just to set a scene, and then the music took over and kind of, illustrated the scene musically.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of the format for that, and I came up with a bunch of ideas on that, and I decided to do another one with maybe with a like not so much, with only a couple of voice bits and a lot less audio drama and a lot more music. So I did. I put together a bunch more songs, and I decided to name it after this one song that I made. It was called Mandible Judy, and the song starts with just a voice acted thing that I did of telling the story about Mandible Judy, and it ended up becoming the opening to the podcast eventually. So that thing you hear at the beginning, of each Mandible Judy episode, is in the original song on the record that's called the release on Bandcamp. That's called Mandible Judy. So it was a song with a 1 minute, narration at the beginning about this character, Judy. And there's even more to it, but it gets boring. So I'll nip it there. But
like, how did Judy, like, where did that story come from though? Because like
I remember pretty clearly. I just like woke up one night, and like you'll do in the middle of the night when you're laying there, you just start thinking. And I can't help but to think creatively when I'm in bed at night, and it sucks because if you think creatively, you're never going back to sleep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just like you're up for an hour or more, 2 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until you like wear yourself out. So I'm laying there just thinking, and I'm like coming up with scenarios. And so the name Mandible Judy comes from this Spartan life. I had a character in there named Octobit, which was ostensibly the DJ who, we had like a David Letterman kind of set up as a talk show, and instead of a band, we had a DJ, and it was one of the elite, Covenant elite aliens, and I gave him like a little thing that was in Halo that looked like a DJ booth, and he stood behind it, and he kind of moved around like that, and we played chiptune music, so it looked like he was DJing chiptune music. So what am I saying? He was DJing chiptune music.
That's right.
The actual person named DJ Octobit. So, oh my God, the dog's barking at me now. It's okay. It's all right.
Now, Clayton, I want you to understand too. I would not be surprised whatsoever if the Avengers crash through behind Chris.
Yeah.
He turns around for a second, watches it happen, and then turns back around and continues the conversation like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, well, you know why, right? Because he's a New Yorker.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly. I live there too. I remember.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta zip through this because this is way too long. So, DJ Octobit, I had this one episode where I wanted some After Effects done for this one thing, as I needed DJ Octobit playing bagpipes, right? So I got the character to kind of stand there with his gun and just kind of hold it, lower it, and just kind of move back and forth like this, like he's doing something with his hands.
Uh-huh.
And then I sent it to my friend Julian van Alderen in the Netherlands, who's expert at After Effects, and he very kindly just whipped up. I gave him some still images of bagpipes, and he pieced this together. He made the bagpipe inflate and deflate. And it just looks amazing. And when he sent me back the clips, because if you know what the elite Covenant look like, they've got the mandibles.
Mandibles, yeah.
He called it Mandible Eddie. He's like, Mandible Eddie take 1, Mandible Eddie take 2, or whatever. So I just thought that was hilarious. And I'm laying there in bed thinking, okay, what's scary? Little girls are generally scary. Okay, weird little girls. Okay, dressed strange. And I'm thinking, scariest little girl I know, probably the twins in The Shining. Okay. So I'm picturing them in the powder blue dress, and I'm like, okay, so I started writing this in my head, and I named her Judy. I always thought Judy was kind of a creepy name. I don't know why. Sorry, anybody named Judy. Just my association with it. And then I was thinking, she's got to be something Judy. I was thinking like adjective Judy. What's the adjective, right? Like horrifying Judy, brutal Judy, awful Judy. And somehow Mandible Eddie popped into my head, and I said, Mandible Judy. So,
and you were like, that's it.
Yeah, and I started thinking about, what does that mean? Okay, Mandible Judy would mean like she's got weird, massive jaws that, can kill people. So from there, I built a story. That's the whole damn thing. I just gave you the whole shebang.
I love.
Now I'm curious about how you got the rest of us involved in this insanity.
Bribery.
That's what I want to know.
If I remember correctly, bribery and sexual favors.
Right, but I kind of you've known Clayton longer than you were doing Mandible Judy, right?
No.
Really?
No, in fact,
How did you two?
Under Dead Water, he answered an audition.
Yeah.
Okay.
For Under Dead Water.
No.
Yeah.
I answered an audition for Mandible Judy
Judy.
for season
right.
3, and you were like, but I have
like his
another
voice.
idea.
Yeah, exactly. And this happens all the time. I'll get an audition. I'll think, that's a great voice. I want that voice in the project somehow. It doesn't match the character I have in mind. And
But
then
I have
just wait
this.
until I come up with somebody. Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, it's funny because I originally thought of Walter as kind of a plain vanilla dude just for exposition, and you kind of made him into a real dude. You made him into a character, which is awesome.
Wow.
Walter's
I
a
feel
real
like you
dude
guys all
now.
basically did that, though. You know, because you write it on the page, and then once you hear the person's voice, you're like, oh yeah, he's that guy, or she's
Yep.
that.
Isn't it?
woman.
It always feels kind of cliche to go, you breathe life into this character. I feel like to some degree when I say that to actors or whatever, I feel like I'm sort of being absurd. But then from the other side of it, I'm going, no, it really is. That character is so different than I ever envisioned them. They're so much more organic and real and believable, and like I love it. The character is never finished until it has an actor tied to it.
Yeah. I mean, and sometimes it's just like it's like, okay, this is sort of what I was expecting. They're doing what I wanted them to do, but they're putting their own spin on it. And sometimes it's like, you're doing something I totally did not expect, and holy fuck, it's way better than what I expected. So let's go with that. So I mean, I keep bringing up this example, but Matthew Bird is Jerry. Like, I never expected him to be this pro wrestler sounding dude, And so the whole wrestling thing came about because I heard Matthew's voice doing an audition for Jerry. And I was like, what if I made him an ex-wrestler? That made sense with Matthew's very deep and gruff voice, And because I'd written him as a shock jock kind of guy, right? So I was thinking like Don Imus or something, right? And I told Matt that, and he basically went with it, but he has that gravelly quality to his deep gravelly quality to his voice. So I was thinking maybe he is a shock jock, but he's an ex-wrestling shock jock.
Nice.
Kind of like a Jesse Ventura meets, And so all those, but yeah, I don't know. And then Connor was similar to Walter in the sense in the beginning, Connor was kind of the everyman, the scientist who explained everything, right? But then again, when I heard your voice and when you started giving me reads for the part, I was like, no, he's kind of a different guy. He's got more life to him than that. And I started developing the relationship with Kenny, like the friendship and kind of almost like a father-son thing. And I don't know, like it all changed after.
You know what? It's funny because you know what I was hearing in my head while I was doing a lot of Connor's lines? Dr. Ira Kane. Does that ring a bell?
No, from what?
That's David Duchovny in Evolution.
Oh, yeah, right.
That's where I was getting it because I keep thinking that I love that movie.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's a scientist, but he's not super serious about it.
Yeah.
He was more about teaching it and, helping everybody understand it.
Yeah. That actor has so much style. He's just
fucking love David Duchovny.
He does. I don't think he's the best actor I've ever seen, but like he's perfect for television and for drama, like short drama or serialized drama, because you really get a sense of his, every time, he's like you guys, like, there's a character you kind of bring to the role, and that's kind of awesome. Yeah.
We've somehow managed to segue directly into the characters. So do you want to switch on over and pull it in?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, you want to share the screen, and so what we're gonna do, folks, is we're gonna kind of talk about each person, little mini tribute to each of the excellent cast members. So the thing that I think, if there is one thing that made this podcast at all successful, it is the cast. I mean, I've been praising you guys already tonight, but I mean, I really feel like I was just super lucky because I've heard other audio dramas that just, like there's a lot of good stuff out there, and I'm kind of in awe of some of it and thinking, what can I do to be more like that? But also, there's a lot of stuff out there that's, the acting's not the best, or like the script, doesn't inspire the actors too much. And I feel like we really lucked out here with just a great connection between the script and you guys doing the voiceovers for it.
God,
So,
likewise.
So speaking of which, there is Aaron Lillis. Let me switch over so I can see the cast. Look at the cast. So Aaron plays Bonnie Galliard. I put Aaron at the top originally because she's probably one of the top 3 voices you hear the most in the series. I'd say it's probably Aaron, David as Marco, and Mike, you as Connor, are probably the voices we hear the most throughout. Some episodes obviously focus on other characters more. Erin's, she says, second generation Los Angeles native. She's voiced several video game characters. I think there's more than several at this point. This bio is probably about 2.5 years old. Lots of audiobooks, commercials, and more. Some audio fiction she can be heard in include the No Sleep podcast. She's fantastic in that. If you haven't heard No Sleep podcast, it's one of my favorites. Conjuria, Calling Darkness, and Subverse City Transmit, which is her own sci-fi podcast. The Alexandria Archives, Simulacra 2 video game, Seeking Dawn video game, and much more. Besides voice acting, Aaron also writes fiction, hunts ghosts, consults for marketing companies, and does web development. And Aaron, she was one of the first people that I really felt a kinship with when I cast her. I asked her, I don't remember. I think she auditioned and I immediately said, yes, you are somebody. And then it was between her and Bonnie Bogovich as to who would play Bonnie Galliard. Weird. And strangely enough, Bonnie ended up playing Dr. Nobili, and Aaron ended up playing Bonnie Galliard.
There's Glenn. Look at that.
Hey, Glenn. What's up? So you're going to be really excited about this. I'm going to really be boring and go through every cast member and talk them up and say how much I love them. So you're there. You're down near the bottom, unfortunately, but you're there. I don't have a bio for you, Glenn, so you're going to have to fill me in when we get there.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. And you were the second choice of showing up today too.
You've got time to start recording, so start penning, man. get the pen and paper out.
Mike, I take it you're looking at the Discord public.
I am.
Okay, thank you. So if you could just let me know if anybody else from the cast shows
Absolutely.
up.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking.
So you know that Mandy's here, right?
Oh, hey Amanda, I didn't know you were here. Awesome.
Oh, hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Good. Glad to have you.
Oh yeah, I came in at about 9:05.
Okay, sorry.
She's been here for a while.
We're just yakking away here.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to hear.
Yeah. So, any of you guys, anytime you want to jump in and say anything about the characters I'm talking about, please feel free, interrupt me. I'm just going to go through it. So working with Erin was awesome. She really wanted to, just do something fun, and she liked the script. And I immediately, she was worried that she would sound too old for the part. And honestly,
really?
I don't. Yeah, and I feel like she's got a super young voice. And when she did Bonnie, she sounds quite young. When she did Willie Cater in Under Dead Water, she sounds considerably older.
Yeah.
So she can do it. She can do both. Obviously, she knows how to control that part of her voice pretty well. And she just, she's one of those people just gave me perfect reads. Rarely had to ask her for anything over again. Usually when I ask for things over, it's because of a technical thing, like a pronunciation or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, but anyway, she just did a great job, and she's definitely one of the main characters.
To the audience at home, don't let Chris fool you. He's a real ball buster.
He is.
As a director, he'll turn the screws to you.
I can't tell you how many hours I just sit in this sweaty little room.
Yeah, they call me the Stanley Kubrick of podcasts.
Insists on method acting everything, which there's a lot of hallucinogens involved.
Especially for Casey, poor guy. I put him through so much drug abuse; it's just awful.
I have a question. Are the townspeople? Is that the audience of this right now?
Townsfolk are people who don't. they are not cast members. So
Right.
we have to restrict this to cast members speaking just to keep to keep it sane, so there aren't
Yeah.
too many voices.
But can
yeah,
we see how many people are watching right now, attending?
well, if you go to the Twitch stream, we are on a different Twitch stream, by the way. We moved to our own
Oh,
channel.
okay.
It's twitch.tv/Mandible
Yeah.
Judy.
Okay.
That's where we're streaming. And if you hit the there's a little button on the side. If it's not available right away, it says people in chat. You can look at how many people are logged in. It's usually about 10 or 15, I think.
Twitch.tv/Mandible Judy.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay.
So anybody listening on Discord, that's our Twitch. So next up is David Steele, who plays Marco Mazzanti. David is, both of these actors are obviously older than the characters they're playing. They're playing like 19, 20-year-olds. And
You are
they're both,
kidding me.
yeah.
This is Marco?
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
David
Have
is
you not looked at this page?
David Steele, rock the fuck on.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's one of my favorite voice actors. He's just so good. Like, he's just got a voice that just works so well for so many things. He was in a really good No Sleep podcast not too long ago, where he played a wrestler in the boxer in the future, and I think if I remember correctly, he's boxing boxing robots or some kind of superhumans or something, creatures that are like genetically altered or something. And it's just so, it's amazing. And the great thing about that episode is that it also starred Graham Rowett, who plays Magnus Becker in Mandible Judy, as the boxing ring announcer. So it's really kind of a cool. I wish I could remember the name of the episode. I'll see if I can find it later on when we're just chatting. So David, yeah, I mean
that just blows my mind, because you get like a picture of a guy and you go, okay, or a gal, as the case may be, and you go, here's the voice that I associate with that person.
I know.
Absolutely would never have thought that's Marco.
Isn't that funny? Yeah, David's got his own podcast. He does a podcast with his kids called the Steel Empire Production Network.
Cool.
With A Quest for Magic and Steel, which is a Dungeons and Dragons improv show, and Arc City, which is an audio drama. So yeah, he's obviously old school gamer, and just a great guy. We immediately bonded because I told him I wanted Marco to be like. Originally, my idea for Marco came from before I wrote the script for Mandible Judy. I wrote the script for a music video that we never made that involved basically Bonnie and Marco on a motorcycle riding around in like Lovecraft country, and I don't mean that as the TV show. I mean like coastal New England.
Yeah.
And like little sleepy sea shanty towns, whatever you would call them.
Sure.
And strange squid people wandering around the streets and whatever. So I pictured him as a ninja on a motorcycle, like an American, white American ninja with like a, man bun, like a kind of a ridiculous figure on a motorcycle. And then when I started writing Mandible Judy, I was like, that's not the right character for this, because this is a little bit more of a kind of a drama and a lot less of a pastiche. And so we kept the motorcycle, we kept the samurai sword, but it was a katana, and it was the wooden practice sword. It was not an actual
kendo.
Boken.
Yeah.
Boken. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I would not know. So David knew all this stuff. So we researched Kuji In together. Which is the cuts. It's like the art of ninjutsu. Part of ninjutsu is like the cuts. It's kind of a meditation technique. It's a lot of things basically, and we wrote that into the script as his method of controlling Uncle Pate and keeping himself sane while Uncle Pate is trying to take over everybody's mind. So he ends up being the only one who can kind of keep Uncle Pate from infiltrating his thoughts because of the Kuji In. So that was cool. I mean, he knew about all that stuff. We looked it all up together, sent links to each other back and forth, and he helped me a lot with that. So next up is Mike Hall, aka Connor Darcy, and here he is as Wolverine.
Now, that was how many years ago was that? That was like 2-3 years ago now.
Yeah, that's just the most amazing headshot. I can't even imagine a better. It's just so good. So yeah, it's brilliant. So Mike's bio says a superhero by day, aspiring voice actor, and audio engineer by night. I currently live in Los Angeles. Yes, it's as crazy as you think it is, and I am trying to make a career out of my night job. So I feel like you've done. I don't know whether that's something that's happened for you yet, but I think you certainly have hit the success level with your talents and with your work. So
For sure.
Definitely trying. I was telling Clayton, like right after the last Thursday, right after we were finished, I got an email from Sonantin. Is that what Sonantic? They're out of Europe and they're looking to compile voices for AI.
oh,
And they picked my voice reel and asked me for an individual audition. So I'm waiting to hear back from that.
awesome. Okay. While we're I'm sorry to
The
do this,
machines are taking our jobs.
Mhm.
To
Mike is
I
helping
need to add Bob Lukomsky to. How do I do this? Do I just go profile and then permissions from there? Yeah.
Bob,
where's
Bob
Bob's here?
Lukomsky.
mutual friends? Yeah,
My
Bob
Bob.
Lukomsky's here, but I need to give him permissions. Actually, Clayton, are you able to do that while I'm
Make him
yakking?
my guest. Yes, I can do
He's
it.
in the welcome wagon right now. Bob, if you're
And-
listening,
He's
don't
not.
go away. Oh, okay, he's not.
He can't hear.
Hello, Bob Lukomsky. We'll make you
Hang
friend.
tight.
We are going to Mother Russia to ensure he has permissions for his speaking.
Okay, so I'm going to continue with talking about the wonderful, the excellent, the talented Mike Hall, aka Connor Darcy. So I needed somebody originally. I think I thought of as I said earlier as kind of an everyman, like the scientist who explains everything to everybody. And when Mike auditioned for the part, I thought Mike has a really unique voice. I mean, just listening to him in the stream here, I'm sure you can tell. And when he's reading lines, it's even more obvious. He takes on a character, but it just really brought a lot to the character Connor Darcy. Helped me flesh it out a lot. So thank you for that, Mike.
No problem.
Yeah.
Where did you post? I can't remember where I found the posting for this. Do you remember?
Was it in one of the Audio Drama Hub or Audio Drama, one of the Facebook groups?
It might be.
That was where I started,
It
but I
might
might
be.
have gone further than that in the beginning. And then once I kind of got, I got like a.
You must have got a million.
For these things, yeah. That I just kept everything. I kept all the MP3s and the names and all the contact emails, and every time I had a new part, I just listened to every audition I already had and thought, is there anybody I already have here that might fit? And a lot of times the answer is yes. Sometimes it was, I wasn't sure, so I had to look further.
There he is. Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Bob?
Do you hear
Bob's,
us?
Bob's probably he should be able to. He's not muted, but he probably hasn't got his mic set up.
Bob, I have to apologize ahead of time if I ever do the was it 12 the 12 monkeys. Bob, what are you doing,
God.
Bob? Because that's all I can think of when I hear Bob. I apologize.
I've got the guy that you had on here, Bob, my friend that I've known for like 35 years. That's all I ever hear. Anybody says Bob, that's the first one it goes to.
Suddenly,
Speaking of which,
he's a faceless voice in your head telling you to take your back teeth out.
Yep, that's him. You got it.
The track is in your teeth, Bob.
Who's joined recently, just to let you know what we're doing. We're going through each cast member and giving a quick shout out and a thank you and just kind of my memories of when we first connected on the internets and you first auditioned and my thoughts about how the character developed with your input. So Mike, obviously a staple for Mandible Judy. In the end, you might have the most dialogue in the show. I'm not sure. What would you say?
Well, I know that I've got a decent amount, and it doesn't feel like it's the most, but at the same time, I'm really happy to know that my character continues.
Yeah. So
into Under Dead Water.
We talked about that just a second ago. Like I was
there he is.
amazed that Connor made it, like fucking narrow, just skin of the teeth, made it out of. I mean, first the psych ward, and then thereafter all the other crazy shit that happens after that.
Somehow I survived. I totally thought you were going to kill me off.
Plot armor.
Yes.
Armor.
we needed a scientist or two in there to kind of, but we can reason with them. That guy. You didn't really do that, actually. You ended up being like, no, kill them.
Yes, I was the guy. Shut them up. Stop.
Judy, we got your mother lode stone right over here. Judy, come here. I got your stone right here.
I got your stones. Here's your stones. So, Bob, if you double check you use Discord a lot? No? Okay. Oh, wait. Yes, I just did, but you weren't really loud.
Okay.
Turn that gain up. Get
You can
big.
bring the gain up at all, Mike.
I just saw
Bob.
this email a minute ago, so I did a quick pop in and out because I have to finish getting ready for school tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks so much for showing up.
Last week, but hi everybody.
Hi everybody. What's
Man.
up?
Hi, Bob.
So we're just kind of going person by person, but I mean, since I guess you don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to jump ahead to Bob Lukomsky. And Bob Lukomsky, as some of you guys might know, plays Uncle Pate, and he's got the best Actually, this is the best profile picture, I think.
Yep.
100%
You want it?
best profile picture. There you go.
Yeah. So, I
Hello,
don't remember
Tree
if you
Frog.
gave me that picture, Bob. By the way, we're on twitch.tv/Mandible Judy if you want to see what we're looking at. You can see all of us in the chat, the Discord chat, but you can all right now. Connor, Clayton is sharing his screen, and we're looking at the website, the cast page.
Not even the right.
Sorry, I am.
Okay, so it's
totally out of it.
Okay, no worries. It's a picture of a frog, a tree frog on a plant, and I don't remember if you sent it to me or if I just said, I think you said, I like being anonymous, and I said, okay, I'm going to put a frog in there because we like frogs.
The frog.
So one or the other. But Bob is actually not not really. I guess your main thing is not voice acting, but I just thought, I mean, you've certainly done some. I met Bob through Tamara, who plays Petra, and she was in a band and still is occasionally called Frogwell, and great name, Frogwell. And it, honestly, it's just a coincidence there are so many frogs in Mandible Judy, and the name of their band was Frogwell. But
sure it is, Chris. We know what the frogs are doing.
Okay,
Purple frogs.
Stole it. Damn it, I stole it from them. Yeah, so, and actually one of the first times I met Bob, he was wearing a full head frog mask on stage.
Nice.
Yeah, which was amazing. And they were doing a full set of Coil songs, which is an avant-garde
Holy shit.
kind of a post-punk band.
I remember Coil.
Yeah, awesome stuff. And actually, that show made me really appreciate Coil more than I ever did. I went back and listened to it after that, and I was like, wow, I see this whole other side, because they did their own versions of it. But Bob is a composer. He's written music for a variety of genres, including works for choir and organ, solo piano, and chamber ensembles, as well as tape and electronics. His work's been performed by the Jim Sand Ensemble and the choirs of St. Paul's Episcopal Church in Albany, New York, and Winston-Salem, North Carolina. There's a lot more here about...
Oh, bio, wow.
Yeah, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but Bob is also, a vocalist. I mean, he sings in the choir that he writes for often, and he's performed both as a soloist and member of various ensembles, including the Choir of St. Thomas Church of New York, Trinity Church Wall Street, the Berkshire Opera Company, the Schola Cantorum, Saratoga Springs, New York, and God, many more. I remember when I first started talking to Bob, we talked about some of his early, endeavors with bands and stuff. And I guess when would that have been, Bob? The late 80s, early 90s?
I'm sorry, I really started doing stuff like around 84, but
84.
yeah, then there's stuff later, yeah.
Okay, so I'm not to like do like ancient history here, but I mean because that was my when I first started being active as well. We felt a kinship there, and we talked a lot about it. So we had a lot of the same musical influences. Um, so Bob's uh, involvement in Mandible Judy came because I was at one of their Frogwell performances in which they did um, a performance based on the work of Bob Ross, um, and it was God. It's so hard to describe. Bob, do you want to give it a shot?
Well, basically,
Are you there?
dialogue.
He is, but he's got a bad
Like,
connection.
oh, what?
Oh,
You've
yeah,
got
you're
to.
so quiet. If you can get any louder at all, it'd be
I'll crank
great.
it up. Is that better?
Yeah,
Oh,
there
there
you
you
go.
go.
Okay, there we
are.
go. Okay, just changing the gain. But uh, the piece was set up with the five of us. Tamara and I were reciting, kind of in a dialogue, um, verbatim transcripts from the show that one of the other members, Robert Harden, kind of rearranged, and then the other three members,
From
Robert
the Bob
was
Ross song
kind of
show.
being like the conductor. They had easels with blank canvases, and they didn't actually paint, but they had contact mics on like the cups and on the canvas. So those sounds when we'd say like now dab a little of phthalo blue here, and you'd start hearing this tapping, and it was sort of a little like playing off the AMSR sort of vibe with Bob Ross, but like really loud. So, but it wasn't a parody, but it was just sort of just taking this conversational approach to art making and making it a sort of theatrical element.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was super inspiring to watch. It was great to watch the audience because they didn't know whether to laugh. It was a kind of it was in a gallery, so I think everybody sat down and they all were like, we have to be quiet. This is art. Art is happening, you know. And like while they were sitting there like that, these guys were saying things that were. It was just funny to hear it coming out of their mouths. I mean, it's like Bob Rossisms, little fluffy little clouds and all that stuff. And
Squirrel in your pocket.
the squirrel, right? The squirrel in your pocket. And it was awesome. And then, but the whole thing being this super kind of dry avant-garde presentation. So I knew Bob's voice because of that. He was doing Bob Ross, and I thought, well, Bob Ross is kind of a scary dude when you think about it. If it's like in a different context, Bob Ross is a horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to see Bob Ross meet me in a dark alleyway somewhere.
Yeah.
Things
Imagine
are gonna go.
him as a serial killer. I mean, that guy
Well,
could
he was-
easily terrify you
He was
just
an
by
ex-Marine.
describing. Yeah.
He was an ex-Marine.
Yeah.
Oh my God, right. So I don't know, I just thought, okay, I mean, who could do this? I want something really weird and creepy for Uncle Peyton. I don't want to do like the cliche scary voice dude, whatever, laughing, maniacal and all that stuff. I want somebody really calm and friendly. And not that that's not a trope too. Probably starting with I would say probably what's his name? Oh God, who's the sci-fi author
Norman
Ray
Bates?
Bradbury.
Oh,
Bradbury kind of had a lot of Americana in his horror and his sci-fi. Like down small, country people, simple country folk that, witness a UFO landing or whatever. So that was where I was going with it. Just wanted to get the Bradbury effect going on with Uncle Pate, and I knew Bob could do this because I had heard him do Bob Ross. So we worked on, in these sessions, so much of it was just improvisation. I mean, I wrote the lines, but I mean, Bob read them and like just kind of improvised on them. And then when it came to the chanting, he basically sang it all as if it was a Gregorian or like some, old, God, well, I'm not
plain
versed in.
chant, basically.
What is it?
Plain chant.
Plain chant?
Yeah.
Can you explain what that means?
Well, it's Gregorian chant is a type of plain chant, but it's really just that single line that has an intoning note, and then you and the line,
Right.
and then you do another thing that goes like this, and this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I basically took what Chris had written that Tamara was singing, and because it already had that sort of contour where things were like, undulating around a central pitch, and so it was really easy to just kind of take what Chris did and with really minor alterations, like recast it as this eerie chant. So
right,
you were writing it whether you knew it or not. So.
That's very kind. I don't know about that, but so I mean, what the fun thing that happened out of that is that Bob gave me these great recordings of these plain chant versions of the the alien language, right? The what we now we I don't think we had this word in Mandible Judy, but in Under Dead Water we begin to learn that the name for that alien is the Tromina. So the Tromina have their own language, and Uncle Pate speaks it, and he chants it, and it tends to have a mind control effect on humans. So Bob recorded these plain chant versions of these, basically gibberish words that I wrote, and then I took it and made like a remix out of that, and it's one of my favorite pieces that we have in the series.
I'm not even gonna lie. When I first when I first heard that particular piece with the Episcopal Church kind of choir, I'm walking my dog at night through an area that I had, because I wander at night. I'll take my dog for a walk, 3 or 4 miles, whatever the hell it is, and just wander. And I'm in a completely new area, never been here before. I'm just going while I'm listening to the podcast, and this thing kicks up, and between the chills and the that I'm 8 years old walking up the basement stairs, and I know for a fact there's something that's immediately behind me breathing down my neck. I'm like, well, this is a really stupid choice to listen to this right now. It is both beautiful and haunting, and who the fuck is this guy, Bob Lukonski? Because he's messing with my mind. So hats off to you, sir.
That's
Glad to
awesome.
mess with your mind. So
I'm pulling up the Mandible Judy Bandcamp to give you, anybody who's listening, the link for that song, because you actually can hear it. Where is it?
Yeah, fire it up.
Oh, here it is. Okay. This one is free to listen on Bandcamp, and so I'm going to go to the Twitch channel and put it in the chat.
Drop that bad boy in.
There
I mean,
is
really
remix.
haunting.
Put it
Like,
in the
this
Discord.
is awesome.
And this is now in the public broadcast text chat part of a thread of our Discord. If you want to listen to it, I linked it there. Oh, hey Bob, you're on camera. I didn't notice. I was not looking at the Discord until just now. Oh, you went away, for me at least. There you are.
It's funny because the Bob, the Uncle Pate character actually pulls me straight back to the Frighteners.
Yeah.
And what's his face, the occultist FBI agent.
Oh yeah, excellent.
I'm not
Yeah.
familiar with that at all.
Oh, you gotta go watch it. It's wonderful, wonderful.
It is. It was Michael J. Fox's comeback movie, but the actor that plays the FBI agent is Jeffrey Combs, and he is such a brilliantly underrated actor.
Yeah.
Bride of Reanimator and Reanimator.
Mm-hmm. You got it.
And also Wayun from Star Trek Deep Space
Yep.
Nine.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Jeffrey Combs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob,
Wayun.
what do you got going on in the background? You want to tell us about your studio a little bit?
Well,
Well,
so
it's just,
the Twitch can't see that, but yeah, I'm 100% interested in what the hell's going on.
Oh well,
I'm
this
sorry.
is my. I mean, you're not seeing the front part of the studio, which is here with the monitors and all the other stuff.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's my studio / office / den of iniquity. I have my library and records and media back here. Stuff here is I'm working on a CD of original music. Chris has heard like 1 or 2 things, like the Modimi do Frasasso thing, which also has like chanting in it. So I have gear that I'm working with right now, vocoder and some other synths. There's other crapola over there, so it's just I live in New Paltz. I moved up here and I built this as an outbuilding because my wife wasn't gonna like put up with all this shit in the basement.
I was just gonna ask if the couch is where you sleep whenever she's pissed off.
Oh no, it's actually a little love seat, so it's kind of tiny, but I do have an air mattress if I need it.
Nice.
So.
But when you're feeling especially pitiful, you just curl up and like just snuggle.
Yeah, well, my dog, when she comes out, that's her spot. You know, she'll curl up and look pitifully at me until I for her a treat. But so I mean, there's all sorts of other weird shit in here, but this is where I work. So
it's excellent. It looks lived in and beautifully complex.
This is where the magic happens.
It's where the magic happens. So I'm gonna move on because I'm worried we're not gonna get to everybody. But please hang out, Bob, if you can.
I'll hang out for a few more minutes. But thanks, everybody.
Yeah,
thanks, Bob.
Thank you, man, and thank you for your contributions. It wouldn't have been the same without any of you guys.
Oh well, I'm looking forward to doing more. So
hell yeah,
and
I'm looking forward to hearing it personally.
Yeah.
Coyote Sibe says, "Drop that bad boy in."
Yeah, you know who that is?
I do not.
Hi.
Nice.
I was just mocking you for fun.
Fucking Inception.
I know, right?
Oh, okay. So I want to go on Amanda next because she's here, and Amanda said 11 in the Discord. Amanda, if you want to cue that image up, Clayton.
Amanda, you've got some wonderful wavy curls. I am.
Yeah, that's amazing hair.
Oh,
I envy that
an
hair.
older. That picture goes pretty far back now, actually.
Yeah, it's probably about when I first met you, or you know.
As someone who has no hair, you've got wonderful hair.
I've seen Amanda pretty recently, and she still looks pretty much the same. So, for you.
Nice.
Amanda sometimes goes by Mandy Bonham, which is a former stage name. American voice and television actress. This comes from IMDb. I'm sorry, Amanda. If you have anything else you want to add to it, please do. She's worked on the properties of Central Park Media, Media Blasters, The Right Stuff International. She studied acting in New York and is best known for voicing, how do I say this, Jury or Yuri?
Oh, it's Jury.
Jury Arisugawa. Arisugawa.
Sugarawa.
And Keiko Sonoda in Revolutionary Girl Utena, which is a very well-known anime, as well as Komaki Asagiri in Genshiken and its spin-off. Jesus.
Kuji. Yeah, I can say. Yeah, Kujibiki Unbalanced is a spin-off of Genshiken. It was like Genshiken is an anime about anime clubs, sort of like a nerdy guys who like anime. The show that they watch and like is called Kujibiki Unbalanced. And so then they made Kujibiki Unbalanced into
an actual anime.
Its own thing.
That's amazing.
So
I love stories that spiral in on themselves like that.
Self-referential. So, do you speak Japanese?
Oh no.
Not necessarily.
No, she does the dub.
I realize, but I'm fascinated by the cross section. Anytime that you get an actor who does a dub version of whatever, I'm always interested to know how deep into that culture they get dragged after the fact, or even before the fact, for that matter.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think with anime, it has a lot of its own, tropes and things that you kind of get to see repeated the more that you watch it. I'm not though too familiar with current stuff. I really need to see what, and also to see whether the styles have changed.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, I'm auditioning for things, but I haven't gotten cast in any recent anime.
I would love to get a part in anime. I've watched so much anime.
Have you?
So much anime. Oh my god. Years and years and years.
You should write one of your own. Well, and then pitch it to like Rooster Teeth or somebody to animate it.
Yeah, it'll be called Dials and Knobs.
Dial knobs.
Why not?
Niles and Dobbs.
Well, then you know. Well, have you watched a lot of current anime then?
I've been catching up on a lot of the newer stuff. Yeah.
Do you watch dubs?
No, I'm still a sub person.
Oh,
I learned so much Japanese that way.
I bet. I bet.
It helps, yeah.
Well, there used to be the sub versus dub debate, and then that changed when people would just have DVDs and they'd switch back and forth and watch both. Yeah.
I mean, dubbing always sounds great. The voice actors do a wonderful job. It's just the fact that what they give you for a script and what is actually being said is usually two different things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a fun thing to turn on. One, and you want to get really meta, turn on like the American not the American sign language. The if you want English. If you want the hard of hearing kind of deal, right? If you're hearing impaired and you have the audio that goes in, the subtitles just purely for that alone, you've got now 3 separate channels of what is trying to be communicated to an audience. It's fascinating to watch that cross section, to go, who's saying what and what are you trying to imply, and like, does that then have an impact on the overall story? And it's a whole anyway. But I digress. So
yeah, we're totally getting off.
Holy shit! Please take over.
To continue with, I mean, I would like to say a little bit about how Amanda and I met. Actually, I think we met when you were doing some voiceover at my old studio. Is that correct, Amanda? I know we've gone over this before. I have such a bad memory. Did you come in and I
think I got your name somehow. I was referred to you.
Okay.
But I don't remember, and I'm pretty sure that you gave me my first animation job. I mean, not animation job. I mean, my first voiceover job in New York.
Wow. And that was in my 32nd Street place?
No, it was actually you were over, was it Danico? The restaurant?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, on Mulberry Street. Yeah,
Mulberry Street. Yeah.
I forgot that we met that long ago. God, that's a really long time ago.
I know.
Okay. Wow. You must have been
All right, are you talking 90s or 80s?
Oh no, I was not an actor in the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was sometime in the 90s. I don't remember what job it was, but it was probably something for Scholastic or some other client that just like a walk-in or something. I moved my studio to 32nd Street, and I remember you being there a lot more often. I remember you coming in a number of times. And then eventually I made the Machinima series, The Spartan Life, which if anybody's watching the Discord can see.
Yeah, that's neat. That's really cool. But Chris, as far as like how I first met you, just to briefly say, I don't know. I was referred to you by that woman with the film distribution company that became Zeitgeist.
Zeitgeist, that's right. Ellen?
Yeah.
Is Ellen somebody? Elizabeth somebody?
Let's see. The partner was Nancy. Oh, Emily Russo.
Emily Russo. Okay.
Do you
actually know that name? Do
you know her?
I don't know her. I don't remember. I mean, I met her once a long time ago, and we
I
did.
So how is it? That's amazing. So that she somehow gave me your name. Okay, but anyway, I will let. Yeah, you continue.
Okay. No, it's all right. So we eventually, I wanted Amanda to do something in the Spartan Life, so I created. We had these dancer characters, the Solid Gold Elite dancers. So they're basically the Solid Gold dancers, but they were elite Covenant aliens with the mandibles again, big strange looking creatures, and but they were, you know. We figured out a way to lock the controllers together, totally against Microsoft policy, by the way. They got very angry about it. But I basically hired somebody, like a hacker.
You rule breaker.
Hacked my Xboxes. I mailed him my Xboxes. I had 2 Xboxes I was going to do this with. And I said, what I want is, you know, they would take 4 controllers, right? I said, I want all 4 controllers to be slave to the first one. So if you do anything on the first controller, all 4 controllers basically mirror the same commands. So if you hit the jump button for one character, they all 4 jump, right? So with 2 Xboxes doing this, and then a third as a camera, and a fourth as my character Damien, we made a show where we were all in it together in the Halo map, and Amanda played one of the dancers named Amber, and her character kind of developed through just kind of trial and error between us. I think. I think she did this thing that was kind of really. I wanted her to be like a tough girl, kind of. And Amanda's like such a sweetheart. It was really against character. But you did such a great job. It didn't hurt that you had a big alien sword, that plasma sword you could kill people with.
Yep.
So there's that. But then when I was doing,
Oh, pardon me.
Godzilla.
come up with a part for you for that, and I didn't succeed in finding you anything in Mandible Judy. But then when we spun it off to Under Dead Water, I thought, well, actually no, we did. The last season of third season of Mandible Judy, there's I gave you a part as an actress on a paranormal talk show kind of thing, and that's basically what became Under Dead Water, that one episode from Mandible Judy.
Yeah, I'm so pleased that you did the
So that
spinoff.
character became kind of the host of the radio show on that became Under Dead Water. And anyway, but it's just been great working with you, and I love your interpretation of what I sent you. I know you well enough now that I feel like I know your quirks to some degree, and what I think you've got a lot of strengths, so it's easy to play to them.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, but it's been great. It's been really fun, and again, I think the character Amanda that you play also kind of started as a kind of a little bit of an every woman, somebody who's going to basically tell the story to the audience, and you've kind of developed, and I think this new season you're definitely there's a lot more going on with your character.
Oh my word, yes.
Yeah, like more paranormal stuff, which is always fun.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I looked at the descriptions that you sent,
Yeah.
but I didn't actually see episodes, but I saw the upcoming.
Oh,
Like
they're in that folder. It should be. You should see the outline for the season, which you can
yeah, I read all the outline. I didn't actually see the scripts.
Yeah, it's pretty loose, the outline, and it changes a lot in the actual scripts. The scripts are in the same folder.
Oh, okay. I'm sure I'll find it.
Episode 1 through 5 are in there, and as we get further into the season, more of you guys will be getting links to. Glenn's got to go. I'm sorry, Glenn.
Sorry, man.
I have to bounce too.
Yeah, Bob had to too.
Oh, okay, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Pleasure to meet you, man.
Thanks so much for hanging.
Bye.
Y'all. Thank you. Take care.
Take care. Bye bye.
Hope to see you soon. Glenn, I'm sorry. Is he gone? He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
Okay. Yeah. So, but yeah, as the season progresses, there'll be more parts being sent out. Right now, it's kind of the main core actors plus Connor, who's like kind of entered into the picture as one of the main characters. So, so let's move on. Who do we have next? Let's go back to the top.
John Constantine.
John Constantine.
That one just kills me. Is that really his name?
Yeah, that's his name. As far as I know, it's his real name. So John is a theater actor.
Name.
The hard thing about John is that he's not on social media. He does answer email, but he's very much about the in-person thing. And I haven't talked to him really since pandemic started, I think, because we'd already recorded all of Mandible Judy at that point. So I really need to get back in touch with him, see how he's doing. I hope that it probably hit him a little harder than the rest of us because he doesn't really do a lot online. He does mostly theater in person. But he's a stage and voice actor currently based in the New York area. In his off-Broadway performances, he's enjoyed acting with and being directed by Hollywood's Austin Pendleton.
Oh, great.
He has a passion for bringing challenging roles and voices to life, such as Van Helsing, Renfield, Jonathan Harker, did Dracula, a radio show, Shakespearean theater, including Prince Edward in Henry IV, and The First Murder, Richard II, Constantine also has a love for Japanese culture, adventure, and psychological horror. So
Subarashi.
I don't remember how I think I found John on SoundCloud. I think that's where I found him.
Really?
Because he's not on really on Facebook. He's not on Twitter. So like he wasn't a member of any of these Facebook groups I've been going to for auditions. But I found him on SoundCloud, and I just really liked his voice. He's a fantastic actor. You know, he just really has a lot of experience on the stage, and he was just the right amount of kind of pensive, kind of tortured, psychologically tortured character for Casey Handelman, who's a very troubled young guy
with a friggin' trigger finger. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a drug problem when we first meet him. Throughout the series, he kind of kicks the drug habit, but he's then kind of, become. He's I think he's the first person to feel the effects of the rocks. He and Kenny, they are childhood friends, so John just brought a lot of just the psychological torture of just hallucinations from either drugs or from being affected by the rocks, and Uncle Pate. I think I'm pretty sure he's the first one to hear Uncle Pate's voice speaking to him. He talks about his childhood and how he used to visit the farm with his mom, and of course it's all made up, but Uncle Pate has a way of making you believe these things.
I think maybe the only other person who's heard it before is Judy's dad.
That's right. That's true. Yeah. So that happened as well. But John's just a pleasure to work with. He's a super nice guy. When we get on our calls to record, it takes us forever because we just end up talking about stuff. He's from New Jersey and I'm from New Jersey. You from Jersey? I'm from Jersey. What next? So we have a lot to talk about there.
Hey, do you know a situation? I heard there's this guy. His name was a situation.
It's a situation. Yeah, I'm gonna have a pork roll sandwich down the shore.
He knows like everybody. He's got like a lot of gel. He's a lot of gel in his life. I'm just saying.
The Jersey Devils down by the shore. You don't need to be going to the shore, man.
Do you guys want to hear my imitation of an extreme Philadelphia and Jersey accent?
Absolutely.
Please.
Okay. Let's go downtown tonight. Oh no, I can't go. I need to go to the shore. I'm going to the Jersey Shore.
Not bad.
Darby. That's Darby, Philadelphia, very specifically, I think.
Holy
really?
Cow.
It's almost English, right? It's almost British. It's so extreme. It sounds almost British.
Well,
I remember the first time I met somebody from Darby, I like, who is this strange British person I'm talking to? And why is their voice so strange? Yeah, it's a really peculiar accent. It's also it bled over into South Jersey though, that accent. Or
yeah, I think South. I don't know the differentiations, but like South Camden, Jersey and Philadelphia are similar.
Yeah,
but what's really incredible is how I saw this YouTube video. It's called Philly Talk, TAWK,
excellent.
And this guy has like the way the word down becomes DEALN.
Yeah.
Let's go downtown tonight. The weather's going to be beautiful. You want to go out tonight? Oh no, I can't go out. I need $1,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Will actually says that Exit 4 is the beginning of Jersey Civilized. So.
Holy shit.
It's so hilarious. Oh my God. So the great thing about working with John was that he totally got all of my Jersey jokes and we got each other's whole vibe. And so I started to really base a lot of the town names and a lot of the especially the schools and like things where anything was happening, businesses in Mandible Judy are all based on actual places in my hometown in New Jersey. When you're writing like something in a town, it helps to kind of picture, it geographically. So I basically just kept picturing my own home, my neighborhood, and about like 5 blocks from where I grew up was a lake that was kind of a marsh and a lake, and it became Mudscoggin Marsh. It just be in my mind. That's where it all happens. and it's kind of goes up to a cliff. Oh my God, trucks.
That's an awesome. That sounds like a dude. That's not just a truck. That's a garbage truck.
I guarantee.
I know it's down there.
It's either
That's
a garbage
garbage
truck or it's Amazon. It could be Amazon. So
No man, that's the low end of a garbage truck. I guarantee.
I don't know.
Anyway.
So in any case, it helped to picture that, and then because I was picturing that, because John was involved, I was also remembering things that friends of mine said when I was a preteen and teen in suburban New Jersey, and like the stupid ways that we spent our time, and it was always just going to the woods and starting a fire. Just always. I don't mean like pyromania. I mean like a campfire, hopefully contained. Not always, but usually.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Exactly.
That's
But
smoky.
all the times that the cops came and busted us, and I remember one time they came and we were the band, like my friends were in a band, and the drummer used to have all bands in the 70s had an American flag behind the drummer. I don't know where that came from. It wasn't like they were patriotic,
Right.
It was just yeah, American flag. So he had it was cold out, and so my girlfriend had it wrapped around her, and she was wrapped American flag literally because it was cold. And at some point she set it down and it fell off the table onto the ground. And when the cops, the narcs, came to see if we were smoking pot, they drove down the hill to the lake where we were hanging out and drinking beer, and they caught us with all the beer. But we didn't have any pot. But he was gonna let us go until he saw the flag on the ground.
Oh God!
And he went ballistic. He just started screaming, "Those are your colors! You don't let that fall on the ground!" It was amazing. It was just. I can't believe I haven't put that into some part of it.
Well, I gotta tell you, there's definitely some Nick Mazzanti in there.
Yeah, totally. Nick Mazzanti is part. What was his name? Officer Pagels.
Yeah.
Pagels and God, what was the other guy's name? Frank Thompson. They were the two narcs. We knew we knew the narcs in our neighborhood, and we knew their cars by the headlights. We could see them from 3 blocks away because it was a specific model of whatever, a Ford or something.
They're Fords, yeah.
Yeah, that they always drove. It wasn't a cop car; it was an unmarked car, but they always had the same model. And so we knew their headlights. Narc. And everybody ditched their pot and whatever they had. But yeah.
Don't all throw it in the fire.
It was such. I want to say it was very New Jersey, but I have a feeling it's all of suburban America, basically.
Oh,
but Chris, isn't there a reference to Westfield?
Oh yeah, Westfield is an actual place in New Jersey. Yeah,
right.
That I got from that's in Under Dead Water. That's where Jerry is currently holed up. Because that's where Alex Canby's mansion is. So Westfield is kind of a well-to-do suburb in northern New Jersey that I learned about through my roommate Billy, who played Officer Dalton, by the way, in Mandible Judy. And Billy, we were just chatting about North Jersey because he's from North Jersey, and we were talking about because I just feel I read about that there were a couple of talk show hosts that live there, and I just want to keep it on the East Coast. It's just easier. It's a geography I know. And he's like, well, it could be Westfield. And I was like, what's Westfield? And he told me about it. And I said, are there any malls nearby? He's like, yeah. Okay, that's it. Westfield, New Jersey.
Hey, Erin just joined us.
Hey, Erin.
She's muted for the moment. I don't know if it's because she needs.
Do we need to give?
I will check on that
momentarily.
Nope.
Hear me?
There you are.
Hi. I'm very late.
So let's move on to we already talked about Erin. We're going to talk about
Erin's right at the top.
We've been going from actor to actor and talking about their work on the series since we're celebrating the 10,000 downloads. I think we're 10,005 million. No, I don't know. We're 10,001 now.
10,005 million. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good.
That's a real
You're
number.
a little muffled. You're a little muffled,
We're gonna
Erin,
go with
just
that.
so you know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not going to stay unmuted for long. I'm trying to do, multitask and also trying to take the garbage out.
No worries. You can just bathe in the praise that I'm going to give you. So I think I mentioned this earlier, but I just want to go back over it since she's here. Erin was one of the first people I asked to be involved. I think, Mike, you were the very first person involved in Mandible Judy outside of
Really?
myself.
I had no
Yeah.
idea.
You were the first audition that I said yes to, and
Nice.
and you know, thought you were great for the part. And Erin, I think you were number 2, and I believe David was 3 because I kind of went with the most important characters first, the ones with the most lines. But Erin, I remember you were like worried that you were going to sound your voice was too old for the character because it's like a 20-year-old or whatever. But I mean, you totally pull it off, and we were all marveling at how when you play Willie Caterbeck, you totally do sound like a middle-aged woman, but when you play Bonnie, you sound like a 20-year-old. So it's all in the phrasings and the voice and your vocal gymnastics, I suppose. So thanks for that.
And the trying to sound young before I have a beauty regimen for my
Yes,
voice.
there you go.
The
Yep.
old age cream that I rub into my throat every night.
Yep.
Excellent. I try to put ice cream in my throat. It helps. It doesn't really make my voice any better, but it tastes good.
Yes, I will agree with that.
So yeah, so Erin like really kind of went with Bonnie, just gave it a real kind of just a really youthful vibe. I think the dialogue for Bonnie, the character really hasn't changed much. It's really basically stayed the way I wrote it originally, and then you voiced it. We came to something really quickly, and it's basically stayed there more or less. Although the characters evolved a little bit because by the end of the series you've seen a lot of weird shit. I think you get a little more emotional in the 3rd season. I've definitely noticed that, and I thought that was really cool that you picked up on that. Like she's had enough of this, and I really like that. And then of course we've got all the stuff with your grandmother in season 3, which was really fun. And you also voice your own grandmother, which was excellent. Which sounds to me, and it's funny because on the face of it, when I say this, I don't know if it really sounds like it would work, but it totally works. You're doing Bonnie's grandmother sounds a lot like the grandmother in Totoro to me, although that's maybe a bit older, more ageified voice, but it's a similar kind of a very kindly old woman, but you do it so well. It just comes off so beautifully. So that was excellent that you could do both of those parts for us. Yeah. And as I mentioned,
far off base because the sound of a woman's voice does sound like her family members.
Oh yeah,
True.
right.
Yeah.
True. Yep. But yeah, that's been really fun. So Erin will be in Under Dead Water as well, season 2, as a special part that I don't want to really, no spoilers, I don't want to announce yet, but it is definitely an unusual part and very different from Bonnie. But I think you have more lines than anybody in the season because there's an awful lot of explanation that has to go on. So it takes place in another time, and it takes place from another, shall we say, point of view. Yeah, Mike.
I have a quick question. Erin, I wanted to double check. You did the horror video game. Am I correct? Where you played the demon possessed
Devour.
The what?
It's called Devour.
Right, Devour. The only reason I brought that up is because the people that are listening in tonight, they're friends of mine from all over the United States, actually, and we've all played the game together. So I was just wanted to point out that the one that kept scaring the hell out of them, that's you.
Yeah. Oh, unfortunately, there's a new map coming out, and I'm not in that one. Actually, I am in that one. I take it back. I did the narration at the beginning.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, in parts 1 and 2 of Devour, I am both of the ladies that are coming after you.
Yep. And it was always a good shock too. Like, I can't tell you how many times they would, like, if not, throw their headphones off, they'd at least throw their controller and be like, God damn it. You got him good. Got him good a couple times. Chris is left. Clayton, you're gonna have to take over.
I will take over. So, I don't know where to go. Apart from the fact that Bonnie, just to recap, kind of what we were talking about earlier, I'm astonished that you were also Willie Caterback and Bonnie, because the two voices are so dramatically different. As a fellow voice actor, I just have to tip my hat because they're phenomenal. When Chris is back.
Chris is back.
I'm sorry.
I tried to get Clay. Yeah, I tried to get Clay to take over for you.
Thank
But
you.
You're welcome.
Oh, by all means, if you like.
No,
you guys-
not knowing nearly enough. And back from my own personal bio break, I tried to make that as surreptitious as I could.
it was awesome. I made sure everybody knew you were gone.
Excellent. That fucking guy, that dude,
He's
he's
the fucking guy over here. Yeah.
Right.
guy
when we
run a
need it.
podcast. He had to pee.
So moving on, let's just we have so many more people to talk about. Bonnie Bogovich, Dr. Nobili. She plays multiple parts actually, and she also plays a couple of parts in Under Dead Water, and she will be in season 2 of Under Dead Water. So Bonnie was the other contender for the part of Bonnie, as I think I mentioned earlier, and I decided that she sounded really good as a kind of maybe a scientist with questionable allegiances, namely Dr. Nobili.
Yeah.
Originally, so here's the funny thing about Dr. Nobili. The name is Italian because I originally wanted Antonella Fulci to play the part, the daughter of Lucio Fulci, the Italian horror film director, who I worked with in the 80s, and I met Antonella there. We went to CBGBs together in the 80s, which was
Nice.
awesome. So that was really fun, and I kind of kept in touch with her, and she's a really sweet woman. She lives in Rome, and so we talked about she really wanted to do it. She had the script, and then pandemic happened, and she couldn't get out of the house to a studio, and she didn't really have any gear at home to record. And I was toying with the idea of mailing her a Zoom recorder and a microphone. But anything like mailing anything to Europe is super expensive these days.
Yeah, for sure.
And mailing anything of weight to Europe is even more expensive.
Yeah.
So I just decided, this is going to be way too costly. And I said, let's just wait until, pandemic ends, and I'll write a new part for you. So I took the Dr. Nobili part, and God, how did this happen? I don't remember, but somehow I split it into 2 roles, 2 Italian named scientists who were partners. One is Dr. Nobili, and the other one is Dr. Schifano. So I did manage to find an Italian actress to play Dr. Schifano, who is Giulia Nervi. So we'll talk about her in a second. And I asked Bonnie to play the other half of that character, or the other half of that partnership. So it's a kind of a good, bad scientist partnership. They're like college friends who became, audiologist / genealogist partners. Really strange combination of skills here, They're geneticists who also know a lot about audiology. At least Dr. Schifano does. So that became part of the whole story. And Bonnie was so good as the kind of, like I said, the kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Compromised scientist who's working for this big corporate entity and has basically succumb to the pressures of working for a a megalomaniac boss, namely Magnus Becker, and becomes like sort of his science gal who can kind of get all the dirty work done in the anything that has to do with with the rocks, basically, because they're examining these rocks as well, and they're fascinated by the rocks, and they're sure that they can find a way to control the world and make a who knows what, some kind of army out of by using these rocks. So Bonnie was great in that role, and it's funny because it turned out, as I looked, we connected on Facebook, and I started looking at her Facebook friends. Like, we have like all these Facebook friends, okay, that in common, and I noticed that they were all people who had been to, well, either were in audio drama or in audio production, or had gone to MagFest, which is the music and gaming festival, the yearly festival in National Harbor, Maryland. And I somehow never met Bonnie there, but she was there every year that I was there. And so I'm sure that we saw each other speak numerous times, and just we never met. So it's just kind of funny that we kind of probably should have known each other. We had Steve Horowitz on the stream about a month ago, was it?
Mm-hmm.
And Steve and Bonnie are buddies. Bonnie often speaks at events that Steve organizes out in California. And wow, the dog is actually chewing on my chair right now.
That's good.
It's
good.
incredible. So if you hear a weird sound, listen, you hear that?
Can we see the dog?
Well, let's see. I'm gonna go
Bring
back.
the dog. You must bring dog down to camera. Do it.
You're so gonna awe at this dog. Where are you?
Yep, there it is.
Oh, hi, dog.
I can't even. It's a corgi.
Yeah.
Hold on. We're
no, it
switching back.
keeps going out of frame.
Poppy.
Just every time you start going into frame, it goes out. There you go.
Hello, dog.
Nice.
Popsy's the star of the stream.
I didn't even know you had a dog.
No, it's not my dog. It's my current roommate's dog.
Oh,
but
nice.
She has the run of the place because she's the queen.
She's the dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So,
And Bonnie and I are in the same series of video games too.
that's right.
Yep.
Tell us about that.
I'm in Wasteland 2 and she's in Wasteland 3. Yep.
Amazing.
But she also does a ton of sound design for video games.
Yep.
And I think she's also involved in the newest Transformers cartoon.
No way.
I'm not positive on that. I think I remember her saying that she was
a
involved.
powerhouse. She really does a lot of.
She's a workhorse.
Really interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So she's also in Under Dead Water season 2. So look for her voice. She's one of our favorites, definitely.
And how?
Moving on, let's talk a little bit about Lee Eddy, who's not here, unfortunately. Lee, I met from
you skipped right past Clayton.
That's what. Just keep
What's that?
going.
You skipped right past Clayton.
No, I have plenty of FaceTime.
Oh yeah, no, we're going to talk about Clayton. I mean, we kind of talked about both of you guys already, but I didn't talk about Clayton specifically. So we're going to get to him.
Okay, Lee.
I'm trying to kind of leave the best for last, man.
Ooh, there we go.
Come on, with Catherine, please.
Yeah. So Lee is great. Lee Eddy, I met through Rooster Teeth because of my involvement in Machinima. I met Bernie Burns and Gus Sorolla and Jeff and those guys at various Machinima festivals, and got to know them. And Bernie once or twice leaned on me to do some recordings of actors who happened to be in New York when he needed them. And Lee was one of those actresses. So she came by my apartment. God, it must have been like 2011, somewhere around then, and did a part for Red versus Blue in my booth. And we got to know each other. We stayed in touch. She was living in New York at the time. And when she went back to Austin, before she went back to Austin, I hired her for something. I don't remember what it was, a voiceover part. And then I also brought her in to voice a character for a short Machinima animation that I did with another crew called 2084, which is like kind of a warning about net neutrality and about the internet going the way of the dinosaur. So internet freedom going the way of the dinosaur. But she was great in that as well. She's just a really good. She just does a kind of rough and tumble. Like I mean, she played like a pilot in like a spaceship pilot in Red versus Blue, and she was just so good at it. Like she just sat. It was so believable, you know. Like it just worked, and like so I just kept wanting to cast her in parts that were based on that, you know. So the 2084 thing was kind of written around her voice. And I had a number of other friends actually audition for that as well, which was really fun. But then, when I wrote Mandible Judy, I just decided I really would like Lee to do something in this. So I wrote the character Catherine, who is the previous, not secretary, like dental assistant at dental services in East Haddam, Connecticut, where Dr. Fusi was famously in charge. And so she became the one who kind of gave us like all the backstory about Dr. Fusi after the fact and all the evil things that he was doing before our story started. And so it was great working with her. She lives in Austin now, and her husband, Macon Blair, is currently finishing up the new Toxic Avenger movie, the remake.
Nice.
With Peter Dinklage. God, who else? I think Elijah Wood is in it now.
What?
I can't remember.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
Dude, that'd be awesome.
I know. It's just the cast is just like expanding into amazing areas. Mark Torgel, the original Melvin the Mop Boy, is in it, who actually played had a cameo in Mandible Judy as well. So it's kind of old home week, which is really fun. The kids are screaming outside. It's excellent. I can't,
I'm telling you, I'm waiting for
them.
Dude,
waiting for the Hulk. The Hulk's gonna come right through the back wall, right over there.
Yeah.
you're
Right
gonna
behind
hear my dogs here in just a second, so yeah, don't feel that bad.
Nice. So the last thing I do want to say something about Lee's recent work. Actually, gosh, I really kind of have to go to IMDb because she has very recent work. She's been in a number of Netflix projects recently. So let me just refresh
Amazon
my
too. She had Panic and
yeah. A lot of it's not in. Or is it? Let's see. It is. Yeah, actually, Amazon television series Panic, Richard Linklater's Apollo 10
and a half.
Rather, sorry, Space Age Adventure, Buck Alamo or Phantasmagorical Ballad, Duncan the movie, but there's Mercy Black 2019, Sister Amy 2019, Mustang Island 2017. So a lot of these are Netflix and Amazon projects. I'm trying to remember the most recent thing she was in. God, what's it called? I can't believe I'm forgetting. It was like kind of a teen vampire thing, if I'm not mistaken. God, it's not. Where is it? Oh, maybe it is Panic. Oh yeah, it is Panic. Yeah. So yeah, and Cruel Summer, right? I don't feel at home in this world anymore. With Elijah Wood is in that as well. So she's been in a whole bunch of stuff, and she's really talented, and she just kind of has, I don't know, she's got such a quality to her voice. You just immediately want to cast her. She's one of those people, one of those actors that you immediately hear a character as soon as she starts to talk, and you're like, I can write for that, So that's always fun. Moving on, we're going to backtrack, and we're going to talk about a certain guy named Clayton Romero now, who was not in Mandible Judy. Strangely enough, I didn't know Clayton. Well, you auditioned for something for Mandible Judy towards the end of season 3, and I didn't end up casting for that. But I was like, this is a great voice. He's obviously really professional. Your recording sounded pristine. Your everything like about it was like your takes were fantastic. Enunciation, it all worked so beautifully. So I thought, okay, this is a guy that I definitely want to use for something, which is something I did a lot. I like I was saying earlier, I kept my auditions folder and just kind of went through it every time I had a new role to fill. But Clayton worked out beautifully for Walter Stedding. When he started voicing Walter in Under the Water, the character was pretty one-dimensional the way I wrote it, and it just kind of definitely took on a life of its own once Clayton started turning in lines. I started hearing stuff in there and thinking, okay, he's this kind of guy. He's a bit of a tech nerd, but he can't help his curiosity. He keeps going back to that damn lake. What is wrong with you, man?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how you described it to me. He was I mean, you already kind of said it. He was sort of the everyman.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of a skeptic in him. Like, there's got to be a reason for this. There's got to be like an explanation for why this thing happens the way it does. But clearly, there's a thing that happens. You know, the experiences that Amanda and Walter go through. They can't help but be affected. They're like, well, this isn't in my world experience. I can't help but not be affected by it.
Yeah,
and get a little bit rattled.
Yeah. Well, I kind of what I've been trying to do, and I don't feel like I've been successful yet in the scripts for season 2, but I'm trying to adapt it. Your character, I want your character to be motivated. Like in season 1, you're kind of motivated by, you know, the audio radio production job, right? Like you're motivated professionally. Like you want to make a really good show that's successful. And the more that happens to you, like once you get like basically abducted, right, by this crazy dude in the lake, and brought to the house of insanity on the island.
People in the audience go buy the mother load because holy shit.
Yeah, there's a wonderful episode with Clayton and Noah Graham playing Ebba, who's the crazy lady on the island, and I play a small part of the character of Edward Giddens, who's the guy who abducts Clayton.
Not Frederick. No.
Yeah, but it's one of my favorite episodes, and unfortunately, I made it a Motherload edition, which means you can't hear it without buying the Motherload editions on Bandcamp, but they are cheap. It's very inexpensive.
Support the cast.
MandibleJudy.bandcamp.com. Please go and buy and support the cast if you are so inclined. It's the way that we raise money to pay the cast for the series.
Yes.
So anyway, it's a really fun episode. It's totally off the wall. I was thinking when I wrote it, I remember thinking, yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, basically. He gets into this situation where everyone in the room is clearly full on insane. And he's just like, I'm too drugged out, messed up to respond. And I'm chained up to the wall and I don't know what to do. And of course, you don't really remember it because it's your recorder recording a lot of it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I get my idea for you for season 2 is that you're basically motivated by anger. You're just really pissed off that this happened to you, and you feel violated, and you feel really upset about it. And when you find the guy who did it to you, you're pretty angry with him.
That's going to be a really, really interesting episode. I read so. Chris has already been sharing the script.
I don't feel like I did it justice yet. I always write things.
Wait until we get in the recording booth. If you want to do the recording booth in the next couple of days, we'll get in there and it'll get interesting.
Yeah, anything you want to improvise on that, man, it would be great. Because I want him to. I want Walter to be really angry, and I want him to stay angry through the whole season because. You know, it comes to a head towards the end of the season, like what actually happened.
There's a lot to unpack there. I mean, the sense of violation that comes. Well, for again, people who are in the audience, go get the thing and enjoy it because it's wonderful. You're missing out on some very, very cool stuff.
There's also one in the Motherload edition with Mike as Connor, where he first makes his entrance into the storyline of Under Dead Water, which is fun. Slipping from Mandible Judy into Under Dead Water.
How you doing? I need to go look at that lake, and I got some people I got to talk to. Absolutely. That actually it brings up because you said you were in the episode. You're chained to a wall with a bunch of crazy people around, and it's a complete horror situation. Which brings me back to a question that
Saturday night, right?
For some reason, I have never put together that your last name is Romero. So, how many times have you gotten asked?
All the time. No, it's very often no relation. Yeah, no relation. No,
even have to ask.
George.
I'm really interested in like which Romero you're thinking of.
George,
only Caesar.
George, of course.
Okay.
Only Caesar.
I was thinking maybe John Romero, but
no, sorry.
Well, that's my dad. Yeah. My dad is John Romero.
John's good, but Caesar's got a
Caesar
little bit more exposure.
I mean, then there's also
George.
There's also George Romero.
George. No. I'm thinking of Caesar Romero because from the guy that played the Joker.
I know that, but I mean Clayton. Who were you thinking? Because you look
George.
You're thinking George.
George Romero. Yeah. It's all zombie all the time.
Yeah, no, I was thinking Caesar.
Okay. So you got a couple of Romeros there that you could be related to, and you never know.
Do you remember? Do you know Caesar? Like, you know who I'm talking about?
I don't.
He played the Joker in the 1960s Batman
TV series.
Oh yeah. No. I'd have gone with George Romero. If I was gonna go there, I would take that particular claim to fame.
Yeah, I would too. To be honest,
Caesar was still great though.
He was.
I didn't say he wasn't.
No,
but
I know, but it's George. Yeah, I know it's George.
Burgess Meredith as the Penguin.
Oh yeah,
with the love there. But it's been a great joy, and the coolest thing about working with you, Clayton, is that you and Mike both have become a lot more than just cast members. You've become co-hosts essentially on the stream, and you've you guys are definitely giving me ideas all the time for the story. Your feedback is super helpful. So I really value that very much. I mean, I'm lucky to have connected with people like you guys who both have written your own audio drama scripts, and so it's like it's one thing to critique an audio drama or a movie and say hey, this is really cool, but they could have done it better, and then to sit down and try to do it better,
right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you realize how insane it actually is to do it in the first place. And you're like, shut the hell up.
Right. Jesus. What do you mean I got to create this shit from whole cloth? I mean, I can't just copy somebody.
It's insane.
Wait, I gotta audio design the whole thing? Like for real.
Where am I gonna get sound effects like that? Where am I gonna get a sound effect for a squishing boot, in the marsh? Like,
Oh, God, I don't have a Foley room here. I mean, I live in a small New York apartment. I can't afford, whatever, 20 square feet to build a real Foley room with grass and, like gravel and all that stuff, the gravel pits and all that.
But if you do need sound effects, I've got about 6 gigs of sound effects.
Awesome. Well, yeah, it's funny because you and Clayton and I probably have every sound effect ever made.
Probably.
Yeah, because we also have about 6 gigs or more of sound effects. Clayton recently shared a bunch with me, and I'm happy to share mine with both of you guys.
Oh,
if
absolutely.
you're interested. Yeah. I feel like I haven't yet uploaded them. I know what it was. I had to clear room on my drive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's so overloaded. So anyway, so thank you, Clayton. It's been awesome working with you, and I'm so glad that you're still down for Under Dead Water season 2.
It's been such a damn pleasure.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks. I want to talk about a couple more people here. Tyler Jackson Price as Frank Howard. He's in season 1 and 2. And then we also have Gary Scales as Frank Howard in season 3. Tyler got very busy with his family life. He's a great guy. We immediately hit it off. We just kind of connected on a lot of other stuff that has nothing to do with audio drama or audio or any of that stuff. I did some work for him to try to pay him back a bit for his work on the series, and so I got to hear some of his other voiceover work, which was awesome. Tyler he's tjapvoiceman.com. He's been a professional voice actor for about 5 years. That's 2 years ago now, so 7 years. And has extensive experience working with companies worldwide in commercials, promotional work, character voices, narration, kids literature, radio, and e-learning. With a strong background performing stand-up comedy is where he discovered his love for voice acting.
No shit.
Yeah, I didn't know this either until I read it.
It's a firing line right there.
Companies he's voiced for includes ESPN, Disney, Netflix, ESPN. That's twice. Amazon Prime and others, and ESPN.
ESPN, the Ocho.
Yeah. He kind of grasped Frank Howard right away. He's a father. Frank, one of the major parts of Frank's character is that he's dealing with a 20-year-old son who's like straight A student, kind of science whiz, geology in particular, which is how he kind of, which is how Frank and his son Kenny get pulled into the story is that Connor finds them and asks Kenny, one of the local students from the university, to help him on a geological survey of the marsh because he's investigating these rocks for a pharmaceutical company up north, namely Becker Pharmaceutical. And so Kenny gets exposed to the rocks, and then that drags Frank into it, and Frank is basically going nuts through the entire series, trying to protect his son from whatever the hell is going on with those damn rocks.
Yeah, and I'm continually trying to calm him down, and you find out that, and then you find out that Becker's a pecker. So,
right, exactly.
Becker Pharmaceuticals.
So right.
Cats Anonymous.
Yeah, we got to talk about Graham. So all right, so so like I said, Tyler was busy with just being a father when we started to do season 3, and he was working round the clock. He took a really demanding job, and he just I'm sorry, man, I just can't swing it this season. So I brought in Gary Scales, who is he's all the way at the bottom for you.
We got him.
Great guy. He's Nashville, Tennessee native, resides there to this day. He started voice acting in 2011 for radio stations and promos at several Nashville radio stations. Wow. That's got to be some history there, including 1470 AM. I love how he names the radio frequencies, because anybody from Nashville, I guess, would know that because radio is so big there. You can hear his voice on Bounce TV Nashville for different spots, advertising the Terry Clayton Law Office, Fab Steel Welding, a lot of local services like tax services. He's the voice of Oh Charlie's and the Village Inn automated service and acute heating and cooling radio spots. The guy works a lot. He also did voiceovers locally and globally and video games for Tom Clancy's Division 2, Dying Light 2 on Xbox One and PS4. Also for my time at Porsche on PS4 and Nintendo Switch. So Gary filled in as Frank Howard. He managed to disguise his Tennessee accent a little bit because he's supposed to be from Connecticut. I figured, it's an
evolution.
Yeah, it's an evolution of the character. He became more Southern as time went on. But he did the part so well that it didn't really matter to me. He really you got the main thing is the pathos of worrying about his son. Yeah. That was the big thing with Frank, and also his friendship with Connor was pretty important.
As an audience member, there was enough. It's always a rough role when you're dealing with changing actors midstream. You look at the one that really comes to mind right now is in the Avatar: The Last Airbender, where Mako died. And you had to change to a different voice actor,
and you could absolutely tell the difference.
Yes, you can tell the difference. But with Gary, he came in, and it was enough that I was like, "Is that a? Did he take a different accent? Is it the same guy?" The vocal quality is such a hard thing to peg that the accent that crept in there toward the end of the season 3 really doesn't throw you because his vocal quality is very, very similar to the first actor. It's very challenging. I think that is extremely challenging to manage. So hats off.
He definitely listened to Tyler's stuff and kind of got as close to that as he could. I think.
For sure.
Yeah, but still kept his own take on it alive, which was fun. Frank is kind of a different person in season 3 at that point because Kenny's back in town. He's completely insane at that point. So he's no longer worrying that he's dead. He's worrying that he's going to die, from police shooting him or something.
Yeah, well, and you dug into that whole. Let's look at the politics of that for what was very, very, very current events, and I think dealt with it very, very well.
Yeah, that was the summer, when Black Lives Matter kind of became a bigger thing than it had been already, and and it was just like in daily news. I mean, it's just like every time something happened, everybody was like, "Oh my god, again!" Like what? You know, we could go on and on about that. I don't want to get too sidetracked by politics because I will continue and keep going.
Speaking of sidetrack, you've got 9 minutes to do everybody else.
All right.
No pressure.
I mean,
you can carry it on after that.
I can carry on my own if you guys. I don't know. We'll try to get through it. So I'm gonna talk about Glenn next. I don't really have a bio for Glenn. Glenn Graber plays Hedgie, who's basically the drum machine player slash synthesist of Andalusian, which is the band that Casey Handelman is in with Hedgie and Petra. They play a big part in the series. They, ostensibly, fictitiously provide a lot of the soundtrack, their songs, which is basically myself and Tamriel Adele writing, and Tamra sings and wrote some of it as well. So we co-wrote some of the songs, and she sings them, and I do I guess I do all the instruments. But Glenn is an actual musician. He's a performing musician. I met him in Philly because of the chiptune scene, just playing with vintage game consoles and making music at an event called 8 Static Festival, or 8 Static, the monthly event, and then 8 Static Festival, which was a yearly event. And then we started going to MagFest together, and we just became really tight. He's like one of my best friends. And we have our own podcast script that we've been developing for probably 5 years. And God, I hope we get to make it one of these days. I'll tell you all about it when we have more time.
Isn't that how it works?
Yeah. It's a comedy, so that's why it's taking so damn long. It's really hard to write comedy.
It is.
Yeah. So it's centered on a progressive rock band from the 70s and their lives today. So it goes back and forth between the 70s and today. Them as washed up old men, and them as young teenagers with long hair and dry ice and fog machines and glitter capes and
oh god, now I need to hear it. I absolutely have to hear it now.
Yeah. So the name of the series, if we ever make it, I love this name, Fake Ass Wizards.
I like it.
It's just such a great description of a prog band. Okay, so moving on, let's go to Tamriel Adele next. Tamra is, my best friend. She's the most amazing. She's just really such a talented musician. She goes by the artist name of Corset Lore, and she lives here in Brooklyn, very close to me. And we collaborate on a lot. We've done a bunch of things together. We had a performing duo called Foci and Loci that was all made with Little Big Planet on PS3s at the time, projected on 2 screens live and making music from the machines that we built in Little Big Planet. So a lot of it's really esoteric and kind of avant-garde art, performance art type stuff. But Tamra's music work is actually quite accessible and beautiful, but still very quirky and very unusual. So look her up on Bandcamp. I guess she's corsetlore.bandcamp.com. Her stuff. She's got a new release that's coming in a couple of months, I think, that she's working on mixing right now. That's called 81 Terpsichore, and it's really, really great stuff.
And she's doing a thing this Saturday, right?
That's right. She's performing on Saturday. If you want to hear Tamra's music, she will be on. Let me go to the Twitch chat and post this in there. Tamra will be performing on Saturday as Corset Lore at Wonderville, which is the previous host of our stream. And they're a local, what they call an artcade, which is, an art space / arcade with homemade game cabinets and homebrew video games to play that you can play in person. And it's awesome. And in that arcade room is where the stage is where people perform. So while people are performing, some people are playing video games, other people are watching, there's a bar. It's just it's one of my favorite places on earth. So I'm going to write down Wonderville.
100%. If I have an excuse to get up to New York, I've got to get up to check out Wonderville.
Yeah, please come up sometime. And Amanda, you're in New York. I don't know if you're how you feel about coming out to Brooklyn quite yet, but if you do get a chance to come out, let me know. We should try to get out to Wonderville one of these days.
Yeah.
So I'm saying as set lore, I have a really bad keyboard which leaves out at the E's and everything.
I'm dying to know how she came up with that name. Because there
story.
seems like there's some deep something out of that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I want to tell it. I would leave it to her. Okay,
yeah, sure.
Popsy, that's enough. Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Popsy,
close the door, Popsicle.
Why?
She's really upset about hearing a dog outside because other dogs existing is something she's not cool with.
We get it. There's a very funny story about how the wife and I were about to be involved, and they had a thing on the TV, and it happened to have dogs on said thing. And the dog lost his friggin' mind, and the wife and I were no longer involved.
Oh my god!
It was like, well, thanks for ruining that, you little jerk.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna like, okay, Popsy. Okay, goodbye. See ya. Bye. Okay, good girl. There we go. There we go. A little bit of privacy.
Yeah, that's why I got this.
Gonna bark, but she's a little bit quieter. So I just posted the Twitch for Wonderville. Sorry, it took me a while to type that out because I was talking at the same time. I'm going to put it in the public broadcast chat for the Discord.
Rub your tummy, pat your belly. Or head, maybe, I guess?
Head. Yes. You pat your head.
I mean,
so
that's what happens when you drink mixed the whiskey there.
No, that's what happens when I do just normal speech.
Blended.
I got to be honest.
Blended whiskey.
I will tell you that Niles and Dobbs ended up being investigators that are actually aliens stuck on Earth trying to figure out why humans are what they are. And nobody knows that they're aliens, but they're shapeshifters.
Oh, excellent.
They'll be very sorely disappointed that we don't ourselves know why the fuck we do what we do.
Right, exactly, and that's going to be the fun part.
So I'm going to move on really quick. I'm sorry, guys. I'm
go
glad to get everybody in because there's only a couple left, and I think 3 left. Let's see, 4, 5.
The number keeps going up.
It's just scary. There's 5 people left. Okay, so I'm going to have to cut some of this short. I'm sorry, everybody who's left. Graham Rowett plays Magnus Becker. Graham is a New York-based actor who recently completed the Broadway run of Steve Martin's Meteor Shower. Other Broadway credits include Sunset Boulevard, Mamma Mia, Guys and Dolls, Love Music, Dracula. Everybody's involved in Dracula in this show. Disney Beauty and the Beast. And on television, Graham has been featured on Elementary, The Good Wife, Law and Order, and As the World Turns.
As the world turns.
Nice.
He's soloist in the national. Has been soloist in the National Omaha and Portland Symphony Orchestras, and his voice can be heard on numerous cast recordings, audiobooks, and video games. He's also in a number of really, really high-end podcasts. Some of my favorite audio dramas, including the Grey Rooms and No Sleep podcast. And Graham is just. As soon as I don't remember. Oh, you know what? Aaron recommended Graham to me, and I immediately contacted him, checked out his reel, and I was like, this guy is way beyond my league, as so many of you guys are. And as the first thing I thought of a lot of you. So I hesitated, but I contacted him. I said, like, I've got to have a really good reason for him to play this part. And I said to him, I have a part for you. I don't know if you're interested in doing it. The pay isn't very good. It's only about maybe an hour of work total for the season, so it's not that bad. But I want this role to be based on John Huston in Chinatown. So Magnus Becker is loosely based on John Huston's character in Chinatown. Mr. Giddies. I don't know if you guys remember that movie, but
it's a while back.
Yeah, he's pretty frightening. He's really like an old Southern gentleman kind of character.
Yep.
But we took out the Southern part and just made him cantankerous and just kind of he's very eloquent in the way he speaks. So we have him saying things like, one of my favorite lines. I think my favorite lines in all of Mandible Judy are all Magnus Becker lines.
Graham Rhodes.
So because of the way Graham delivers it, probably, but one of them is, and I imitate this all the time. Some things around the marsh, Mr. Darcy, are not the way God made them.
I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, and another one is, God, how is it? It's wherever little Judy Caterbeck goes, someone seems to lose a head.
I remember that exactly.
My favorite.
That's another one of those these actors who do not remotely resemble the voice that they portray.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. No, he's master of disguise. He likes playing that. He said, I can do older, I can do younger, a little bit younger, but I think he's really good at doing older distinguished gentlemen.
Yeah.
But also, like I said, I heard him doing, in the No Sleep podcast, he plays a wrestling announcer, so he's got a lot of breadth of skill and talent.
Clearly.
So we're moving on real quickly. Ty Anderson, also another one of my favorites. Ty is a veteran actor from video games. He's a voice actor based in Texas. Influence ranges, I love this bio. Influences range from Looney Tunes, classic Saturday Night Live, and SCTV to Mel Blanc, Robin Williams, and 1970s Godzilla movies.
Wow.
Nice.
And that's an excellent set of inspirations.
No kidding.
I'm losing my voice. Ty excels at performing villain voices. That is very true. His most recent voice work includes character voices for Gearbox Software, the God, what's it called? Borderlands series.
Yeah.
Alexa Storytime, Amazon Keeps Reading app, Rapids, Funko, and narrator for the recently released award-winning films Beloved Beast and The Chosen. In Ty's free time, he enjoys hanging out with his family, believe it or not, watching movies, animation, and disc golf. He's also an amazingly nice guy. He just has such a character voice. Like when you hear him speak, it's like, how can I not cast this guy? So I loved him as Nick Mazzanti. Because of his voice, I was pushed to make him darker and darker as the series went on, until, he started to become human. And
Nick's a real bastard.
Yeah, he starts out as a real bastard, and he eventually repairs his relationship with his son, Marco, and basically on his deathbed, or at least what we think is his deathbed, and he managed to survive that and come back, and he's a very humbled man at that point, let's say.
You're getting hit by a friggin' car will do it to you.
Yeah. So we'll move on to Nancy Graham, Noah Graham. I know her as Nancy. Noah lives upstate in Kingston, New York. Not too far from Bob Lukomsky, in fact. In fact, the first voiceover session we did with Nancy, she went over to Bob's to record. So Noah's recent theater work includes premieres of Orchid Receipt Service. I saw that. It was awesome. With Asia Kate Dillon at MITU. Thick Bloop, Thick Water at the Tank in Manhattan. Also another theater I love going to. 100 Years, Troy Foundry Theater, and Cass Noisette, Bridge Street Theater, Catskill. Aside from Mandible Judy, she's done voice work on Error Code 451, a piece by Paper Heart Puppets, and hopes to do more. She spent many years living in New York, working for nonprofits related to film, video, and media, then moved to New York's Hudson Valley, where she raised 2 kids and mentored young writers online and in person. Her writing is awesome, by the way. Her poems based on sleep talk have been published in various online journals. I remember when she first started doing that, and she told me she would basically hit record on a cassette, the longest cassette she could find, put it by her bed, and basically fall asleep while trying to just spoken word recite things. And it got weirder and weirder as she fell asleep. And she tried to kind of keep it going, like between sleep and wakefulness.
Yeah.
So it's pretty fascinating stuff.
Bring the twilight.
Yeah, exactly. So Nancy's an old friend. I love working with her. She's a fantastic actress. She plays Renee Caterbeck, which is just such a tragic and emotional role, and she brings everything she can to it, and I just love it. She also in Under Dead Water plays Ebba, who doesn't have a last name yet, I don't think. Ebba Peterson, right?
She had a last name.
Yeah, Peterson. I
Yeah.
think I may have renamed her, but at the moment she's Ebba Peterson, Pedrsen, which I guess is a kind of Norwegian or Swedish spelling. Anyway,
Damn
she's
Swedes.
fantastic. Her character in Under Dead Water is very different from her character in Mandible Judy. Moving on, I don't have a good picture for Matt Bird, but he plays Jerry Rivers in Under Dead Water. I talked about him earlier. The guy's voice is just so iconic. So much so that when he read for Jerry Rivers, who I originally thought of as a Don Imus style shock jock, I decided to make him into an ex-wrestling shock jock. And the wrestling part and motorcycles and ZZ Top music and the whole 9 yards has just become so much of his mythology in the character in the series.
Oh yeah.
So it's really fun writing for him and hearing what he gives me. And he's also a super nice guy, as everybody is in this show. Gabe Hicks plays Kenny Howard. Gabe is probably the second youngest person working on Mandible Judy. He's a really fantastic actor, voice actor from Pennsylvania. He worked as a voice director on a few of his own projects. He started to pursue it and learned he loved being behind the mic just as much as being behind the computer. His main focuses currently are upcoming game streams on Twitch and a Goblin dating simulator expected to release in late 2020. I don't know if that came out. I should check.
Goblin dating simulator?
Sounds good, huh?
Are we talking like D&D goblins? Or are we talking like the Harry Potter goblins? What are we doing here?
D&D goblin.
You can find him on social media all over at Gabe James Games. That's two names, Gabe James and then Games. That's his Twitter handle, if nothing else.
The man with two first names.
So Gabe is a really talented guy. He, if you look at his Twitter, it's a lot of cosplay stuff, and he's such a handsome guy too. So he can really pull it off. He looks amazing doing this stuff, and he's got a real eye for costumes. And he's the guy's got a lot of followers. He's very popular in the cosplay world.
I gotta get him and Myron together.
Who's Myron?
Myron is a voice actor who works on an audio drama that I do, as well as a huge not podcaster, but cosplayer as well. He does a lot of these like mashup cosplays where he'll do like Jules from Pulp Fiction and Mace Windu from Star Wars, or he'll do Prince plus Rain from Mortal Kombat, or there's just he had one that's Jafar and somebody else. His cosplay mashups are just phenomenal. He did a gender bender Domino from the Marvel series.
Oh,
just a super talented cosplayer and just a general nice guy. And the voice like velvet, the bastard.
Yeah, no doubt. The link to his Kickstarter for that Goblin dating sim is in the public broadcast text chat.
Excellent.
Fabulous.
Excellent. I'm going to grab that and put it in the Twitch stream too. Thank you, Mike. So next is Mark Devaney, who I know as Mark Kostenbader. Mark I met at NJCU where I teach. I put out a call for voice actors, and he was a student at the time, and he auditioned, and I was like, dude, you are so good at this. And he said, yeah, I kind of I play a lot of video games, and I try to imitate the voices in the video games, and that's how I learned. And but he really, he doesn't have a huge breadth yet. He's working on that, but I think, man, the guy is so young. I don't know. He's about, what is he, 19 or 20?
He's 20.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's going to be so good. He's already got such a handle on this. and he plays Eamon Carver in Mandible Judy, the Mudskog as well, and in Under Dead Water he plays Harley Giddens, who's Edward Giddens' son at the cabin on the lake. And he's also just one of our regulars here on the stream, and he's just always a joy to work with and to talk to.
He just got into audiobooks, and so I think we're gonna probably see a bunch of audiobooks come out from him very soon. But he was one of those situations where I did not have my podcast app function properly, and it grabbed something that was like 6 or 7 episodes ahead, and all of a sudden I've got the Mugskog talking in my ear, and I'm like, holy shit, who the fuck is this guy? Because he's killing it. And yeah, I mean, Mark is a natural, and he happens to be able to deliver that emotional cue just right into the center of your brain. It really is very, very well done.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. We're lucky to have him involved. He's the youngest member of the cast, which is pretty cool.
Baby.
So before my voice goes, I want to talk about one more actor, the last actor I have up tonight for the cast. I think that's the last one, right? Let's see. I'm scanning through. I talked about everybody else here. Yes.
Yeah, I believe that's everyone.
Yeah. Giulia Nervi is an Italian actress from Rome. She's a professional actress and singer. Her love for theater began many years ago. In fact, she started attending acting classes at the age of 12. In 2007, she graduated from the National Drama Academy, Silvio D'Amico in Rome, and since that, she worked in many different plays with many different directors and companies, and in some movie and TV shows too. She teaches singing and diction at the Teatro del Orologio.
Oh, dude, good on you for even trying that.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
For actors in Rome, and under the name of Marty Maraschino, she hosts great burlesque shows in Italy and abroad. She also wrote two one-woman shows interpreted and produced by her and directed by Massimiliano Vado called Tutto da Sola, All by Myself, and Tutta da Sola Capitolo. What's the number 2 in Italian? Due. Yeah. All by Myself, Chapter 2. That second one should have had its debut on last March, but due to the restrictions caused by coronavirus spread, it will be better times to come to light. Giulia is super professional. I connected with her through the Italian voice recording studio that I was going to employ to record Antonella Fulci when lockdown happened. And luckily, Giulia was in a part of town that she could get to the studio easier than Antonella could. And so she actually, I think she recorded at home for part of it as well. But she had a setup at home. She plays Dr. Isabella Schifano, who's one of several scientists in the series. Connor Darcy, Isabella Schifano, and Justina Nubili. And she's specifically a geneticist / synth. She's what I call the synth-wielding geneticist, which I thought was a pretty bold stroke of the pen.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I've ever known a geneticist who played synthesizer.
I mean,
pretty sure I haven't met many geneticists in my life, but I didn't think it was too much of a stretch. What the hell? It sounds like a fun thing to throw in there. And she just loved, rolling with that. And, I just love her voice. She's got such a great quality to her voice. Yeah. Equally, I don't know, gosh, what am I trying to say here?
Exotic and compelling?
Yeah, exotic and compelling is a good way to put it. It's very mellifluous, her voice. It just sounds beautiful. It's great to listen to. And so it made a great match with a lot of scientific stuff she had to say. Made it much more listenable.
Oh, yeah.
Which is cool. And, it's been great working with her as well. So hats off to this amazing cast. Thank you guys for sticking with us. I'm just so excited to have a podcast with 10,000 downloads and a cast like this. And I'm sure without this cast, we would have a lot fewer downloads. So,
well, without a good script, man. I mean, you wrote good script, good dialogue.
Yeah.
Well,
you know, without that, we can't give what you ask for.
I thank you for that, sir. I'll take it. Well, it's been a great run so far. Mandible Judy is not over really because it's kind of melding into Under Dead Water. And Under Dead Water season 2 is coming. I'm hoping to have the first episode up by Halloween.
Nice.
We'll see if we hit that. That's a pretty, as Clayton would say. What was your
aggressive?
Quote? It's an aggressive schedule. It's a very aggressive schedule. So we'll see if we get there.
God, I'm so looking forward to it. Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. It's going to be super fun. I think it's going to be...
Me three.
Yeah, thanks, Amanda. I'm really upping the ante. I think we all are going to be upping the ante. I'm going to be asking more weird things of all of you guys. I think you definitely are going to have more strange stuff going on. I mean, I don't know. Okay, maybe you can't get that much stranger than frogs and rocks and, all that kind of stuff.
We can try.
Sun god temples and
right.
Pickle flinging.
Right. Pickle flinging. That's all right. Okay.
Nobody, come on. Somebody get the reference.
Sorry, man.
Damn it.
Zardoz?
No, it was Real Genius.
Oh, wow. Oh.
It's funny you say that because, at least one of the characters is a Quaker, Thomas, David Steele's character, if he chooses to accept the role. And
is he gonna be a Luddite?
The only thing I really know about, that I know firsthand about Quakers, other than just whatever, what you hear about Quakers all the time, like for instance the Luddite thing and no technology and all that. I was happy to learn that Quakers were the first abolitionists, basically against slavery in the United States. So. They're the first ones to speak out against slavery. And they were really big in helping to set up the Underground Railroad. But also, they have some really weird songs that they sing. Really? And I know this because when I was in college at NYU in film school, we went to shoot a student film at a friend's seminary somewhere in Long Island. It was just like a building that was available to, we didn't rent it because we didn't have any money. We just basically used it because they were very nice to us. And we were had a green room in their basically what you would, I guess you would call their, God, what would you call it? The room where the church happens with the pews and everything.
I guess just the
central. Yeah. So
a meeting house?
A meeting house, right.
Yeah.
So they had a piano and they had a bunch of songbooks and we had time to kill. So we were just looking through this Quaker songbooks. And one of them was named after they were all songs about historical Quaker rebels because the whole thing with the Quakers is that they were rebels, right? They were against basically everything in this country. And they were really against the grain and they were persecuted for it big time. And, but they were like, no, nonviolence, no technology, all that stuff, right?
They're
they were very
punk Amish.
Yeah, exactly. so this one song I noticed it said it was named after some historical figure, John somebody or other. It's a very typical Quaker name. I can't remember it now. But each song was then, after the title, was a little description of the song. And this one said, "This is a rebel song. Yell insults and hurl carrots."
Yell insults and hurl carrots.
That's nice. What it said. So I picture Quaker meetings of yore being, "Oh, it's so great. All right, now, you fucking dick douchebag. We got you with a carrot, you fucker."
They were the first Rage Against the Machine.
They were.
That's what it is.
And you guys have got to remember the old Quaker meeting has begun rhyme. Quaker meeting has begun. No more speaking. No more fun. Really? Wow, yeah, that's maybe it's just a New England thing, but that's growing up. I heard that all the time. Mm-hmm.
Killing in the name of.
Right. Exactly. Killing in the name of. So yeah, I'm sure I've offended any Quakers who might be listening. Hopefully none. But I don't know anything more really about that.
Subset,
but
honestly,
I swear
Chris,
I never forgot that. It's burned into my memory. Shout insults and hurl carrots.
I love it.
And
big respect.
Yeah. So very weird.
If there is a bizarre cross section of Quakers listening to this particular stream,
well, I hope they listen because we're gonna have some Quaker characters, man.
Yes,
dude. If you don't send us an email, communicate, reach out.
Right.
So I don't care. Do something.
Remember, they don't do technology, so they
I
would
know
have
that,
to
but
be
that's the point. How the fuck do you get it through your fillings? I don't even know if you get fillings.
No, they don't.
Interesting.
If you're picking it up on the wideband,
if somebody's actually listening to this, it would be like from the neighbor's computer that they have on speakers, which of course would annoy the living shit out of everybody within a 3-block radius, because my voice is definitely annoying, and your laugh is killer. So
it's intense. It's intense.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, that's the end from me. I know that you're about to cut off because you just finished talking.
I think we're. Are we done?
We're done. I mean, we're 2 and 20 hours. 2:20 hours.
I want to call Clayton Captain Video, since he's basically or how about this Stream Master? Stream Master Clayton. Stream Master Clayton.
By the power of Grayskull.
Right. I believe you get to call the ending of this particular.
Yes.
Well, then, if we're gonna wrap for the evening, first and foremost, anyone who's watching this on Twitch, thank you so much for coming on down, coming into our inaugural Mandible Judy channel stream. Chris and all the voice actors involved in Mandible Judy, as well as Under Dead Water, 10,000 fucking downloads. That's awesome. Congratulations to everyone, and Chris, thank you so much from the bottom. I think I speak for all of us at this point, though it may be presumptuous. Thank you for doing it.
And Kellum, Will, and Anthony, thanks for stopping in for this one. Appreciate you guys.
I just also want to say that next week we start the Wednesday schedule. Assuming that's okay with everybody.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it. Connor, Mike, are you okay with Wednesdays?
It'll be easy for me to switch. Yeah, that won't be an issue.
Awesome. Amanda, I hope it's not too much harder for you.
No.
And others. Maybe we'll even get some other folks to jump in that couldn't jump in before because Thursdays were hard for them.
So different bat channel, different bat time.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Different bad attitude.
Well, actually, same bat time, different. Well, except different day, I guess.
Right. All right.
Something, whatever. Okay, so 9 p.m. next Wednesday. We hope to have a guest. I'm working on getting Matt Pusty, who is Makeup and Vanity Set, who's a fantastic electronic musician, performer, and film composer. And
I've also got a guy too who's known as the LA Frankenstein, and he does horror film out here.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I'm working on a guy out here too.
Okay, good, excellent. That's fantastic. Did we ever link you to the?
Yeah, I haven't solidified it, so I didn't want to put anything down yet.
Okay, cool. So just if you get any information, just go ahead and throw the name in there and just get write in the best dates, and we'll work from there. All right, man. Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
And see you next week, everybody. I hope.
Yeah,
Wednesday.
absolutely.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Get vaccinated.
Bye.
We'll see you guys.